questions you guys have for him. Everyone should still have recording access. If there are any issues, just let me know. Coach, do you want to open it up? Do you want to go right into questions?
Questions are fine.
Okay. Guys, just a reminder, please use the raise hand button if you have questions for Coach Rhule. That said, let's go to Brett Johnson for the first one. Go ahead, Brett.
Oh, sorry, Coach. Matt, I'm just curious. So yesterday, and don't mean to belabor the point. I know yesterday you didn't want to talk about anything other than the game, and which seems totally appropriate. Here we are, the 24 hours later. Can you assess the way Teddy played this season? And I know you're going to have a big hand in what happens during the draft and whether or not you guys maybe even take a quarterback. And can you talk about the possibility of taking a quarterback in the draft?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Teddy played well early on in the season. I thought early in the year, really overall offensively, I thought we looked like we had a chance to be a really good offense. I thought the middle part of the season, we still showed flashes of that. I think you think back to the Kansas City game. I thought we looked like a good offense there. I thought Teddy played well in that game. I'd say really probably the last month of the season, as I think maybe Joe asked that yesterday, both offensively, I don't know that we've played real well. And I don't think Teddy's played his best football. And, what the reasons for that are, that's really for the next, several weeks for us to evaluate, identify. I personally feel like ever since he got hurt in the, the second half of the Tampa Bay game, Teddy hasn't played his best ball. So, I think for us, we have to evaluate our total offense, what we're doing, the players, the schemes at every position, including Teddy. Teddy has to have a tremendous offseason. It's been a long time since he's played an entire year. And part of being a quarterback in this league is being able to withstand the physical toll of the season and playing your best football at the end of the year. I don't know that I've seen that from him. And so my encouragement to him has been, hey, you need to have a great offseason. So I think we'll see what happens moving forward. Teddy's here. I have a lot of respect in him. I believe in what he can do. I've seen glimpses and flashes of us as an offense looking really good. I think we need to get Christian back. We need to have a run game that we can rely on. We need to have more consistency in the things that we're asking them to do. So with regards to draft and players and all those things, I think we'll look at every opportunity to have the best that we can have at every position, and that includes the quarterback position.
All right, let's go to Steve Reed, followed by Jonathan Alexander.
Hey, Matt, I know it's still pretty early right after the season, but I wonder if you could maybe address what you view as maybe your top three needs heading into the offseason position-wise.
Yeah, and I think it's hard for me to say specifically position-wise. I think there's a real discipline that we have to have this offseason. I think the first thing is we have to really evaluate our own players and see which guys, we can bring back. And, I appreciate all the guys that were here this year. I think we have a lot of good football players, but this is going to be a unique year, a year unlike any other in the National Football League with a salary cap that's going down. And I think across the league, you're going to see people making really austere, difficult financial decisions, and we're going to have to do the same. So I think the biggest key for us right now is making determinations about, hey, who can we attempt to re-sign, and then who can we re-sign them? I think last year we got a lot younger on defense. I think we're the 10th youngest team in the National Football League anyway, but we're really young on defense. We have to continue to add to the defense. We have to continue to add pass rushers. We continue to have to add guys really at every level. And then, offensively, we were a little bit older. So I think, as we enter the draft, we just have to infuse a little bit of youth onto the offensive side. So, I think last night's game, if it showed anything, it showed the value and the importance of a run game late in the year. I talked a lot about winning in December last week. We didn't do it, but the Saints showed us how to do it. And they ran the football and made key plays when it mattered. And so I think as we enter the draft, just, last year was all defense. I think it's going to be about youth. But the biggest thing right now to me is, hey, who can we re-sign? And dealing with this new salary cap is going to be unprecedented.
Hey Matt, hope you're doing well. Oftentimes franchise quarterback is used very loosely. So I'm wondering, when you think about what a franchise quarterback is, or what you really value in a quarterback, what are the most important things for you and what you want in your future quarterback, whether that's Teddy or anybody else in the future to be that person?
Yeah, the franchise quarterback thing is that's like a colloquialism for other people. I always just think about my quarterback, and we want whoever represents us at quarterback, Teddy, PJ, Will Greer, whomever. We want guys that are excellent situationally, that protect the football and make explosive plays and make the people around them better. And when we've won this year, we haven't turned the ball over. We've been good on third down. We've been good in the red zone. It's a pretty simple formula, and there's a lot that goes into it. I know a lot of the questions are going to be about the quarterback, but for me, I think offensively, I think we saw a defense that improved throughout the year. Offensively, we were good early. We just didn't quite make the same improvement. So I think we have to be better in a lot of areas offensively heading into the next year.
Let's go to David Newton, followed by Joe Person.
So, Matt, just to be clear and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you're not set on Teddy being your starting quarterback next year right now. Is that fair? Or?
Yeah, I think you should just, again, I'd rather we use my words, and so I'll be really clear about it. Like, I'm not going to, just like last year when the guys asked me the same question, I don't know that I'll ever answer that with a resounding yes at any position. I just so believe in competition. But that being said, I think we're just going to have to wait and see. As I said, I believe that Teddy's going to have a tremendous offseason and come back and be ready to go. But I think, we're going to have to wait and see in terms of any moves that we make in the offseason and where we're headed, both at the quarterback position and really at any position.
I want to follow up with another question. A lot of names are starting to creep out that of who you guys are looking at for a general manager. How much control do you want to maintain over the 53-man roster in regards to the relationship with the GM?
I want everything to be collaborative. I want to work with somebody that wants to get the players and establish the vision that we establish, that we believe in. So I'm not going to get caught up on little tags and things like that. I want to collaborate with someone that all they want, wake up every morning saying, hey, how can I get the right players to make our offense and defense and special teams work?
Hey, Matt, do you anticipate any staff changes? I saw there was a report today that Jake and DJ Mangus might be or are talking to LSU about some positions.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll have some chances for some guys might have some opportunities that they might feel are right for them. As I said, you guys earlier, I don't ever feel like it's my job, my place, I should say, not my job, my place. I don't want to comment on things other guys have going on, but as long as guys are honest with me and mention things to me, I'm excited for them if it's a good opportunity, whether it's a chance to be a head coach, whether it's a chance to call plays. I think those are valuable opportunities that guys have to at least look at. So I think we'll have some guys that have some things, maybe rumbling around the next week or so. And then, hopefully by the end of this week or into next week, we'll know exactly where we are staff wise.
And then your first year now that's done, having made the move, the jump from college, what would you say you learned the most? Was there one or two things that would be your takeaway?
Man, that's a great question. I think number one, just coach really hard and really directly. I think this was really hard, Joe, not having a lot of relationships with guys from OTAs. And I think early on I was, trying to, you have to go back. I mean, if you go back through the year and the different things that happen, like who's going to opt out, there's just so many unique things. By the end of this year, this has been we didn't have the record we wanted, but this has been a fun group to coach. And I think it got more and more fun, the more direct that I got and the more, more honest. And I think a second one is, just worry about the things that matter. Don't get too caught up in little things. This was a year full of changes, distractions, all those different things. And I think I learned, just just worry about the things that matter. Don't worry about, if all of a sudden now we have to, walk through with masks on or something like that. Just stay focused on the things that matter. And I'll always just say, put a premium on tough guys who like to play the game the right way. We have a bunch of those, and those are the guys who got through the year. Those are the guys that were there, come the end of the season. So I'd say those three things were things that I personally, really hopefully grew as a coach.
Let's go to Josh Klein for the next question, followed by Elena Getzenberg.
And Matt, how much control do you look to have on player development over the off season, as opposed to letting players identify what they want to work on?
In terms of
like, do you send them home with like, hey guys, we want you, or hey, specific player, I want you to work on this heading into next year? Or is it kind of, you let them go, do you give them specific things that you want them to work on?
Yes. Yeah. Every player, gets like a reporting weight. Every player gets a workout program packet emailed to them weekly, or he might do it every 2-3 weeks. I don't know exactly how he's doing it, but progressions, everything from flexibility to Eldoa to running. I mean, all those different areas are covered. Each player's, the coach staff will write up evaluations this week and provide feedback to the guys for, hey, this is the thing. These are the things that you need to work on, in our opinion. Some guys met with me today. Other guys meet with other guys. So, we'll be very direct about those things. And then once the off-season program comes, obviously the guys that are here will really hone in on some of those things.
Hey, Matt. First, I was curious, did you guys express interest in coaching in the Senior Bowl? And is that something you've at all heard about yet?
The way it works is it's the two teams with the losingest records, I guess, bottom of the draft order that have their full staff. So really kind of out of our hands. Obviously it's something that, given a choice, we would absolutely want to do, especially this year, but really out of our hands. And
then I was curious, as you're going, now that you have this full season under your belt and you get an off season to kind of take a breath and figure out what you want to do going forward, do you have like goals of what you want this off season to look like what you want to get done personally and how you kind of want to approach things? I don't know that I'd say goals per se. I just know what needs to be done. I feel like the guys have done a good job this year of establishing a foundation that we want. We know the areas where we fall short, where we fell short this year, be it schematically, be it preparation wise, be it, just roster wise. So, we'll attack our roster and player acquisition, player retainment, all those different things. And at the same time, we'll improve the things we're doing schematically. We'll improve the things that we're doing preparation wise, process wise, and just globally take a step forward in a year two. And I'm sorry, one last thing. You mentioned how you felt like the offense was doing well at the first part of the season, then it kind of took a step back. Is there anything, I know you mentioned Teddy's injury, but is there anything that stands out to you as a reason behind that? No, I think there's a lot of things we have to evaluate in the coming weeks, coaching wise, schematically, all those different things. I think Teddy was a small piece of a bigger issue that we have to improve upon.
All right, let's go to Darren Gant and then Nick Carboni.
Matt, J.C. Treader, the union president, said the other day that this year showed that OTAs and off-season programs really weren't all that necessary. Do you agree with that? And thinking about your plan, how important is it for you to have that?
I think it's vitally important that we have it, and I hope that we have the full off-season.
Matt, obviously had such a young defense this year. How did they progress compared to what your expectations were? And what do you think you have to tangibly build upon with that unit for next season?
Well, last night was a step back. That being said, I think we were like 20, points per drive. I think we were 28th in the NFL and giving up points per drive until the last 5, and even including last night. And then we were moved up. We were in the teens. I think we were like 18th or something. So, real steps forward. I think we have some, great young dynamic players who can really help us. I think third down defense, getting to the quarterback, all those different things we've made improvements upon. One of our main challenges this year was to stop the run. Last year, the Panthers were last in the league in terms of run defense. We were significantly better this year. So I think we made a lot of growth. I think the defense figured out what was being asked of them and started to play way, way faster. I think we just have something to build on, and hopefully moving into next year, we can take another major step.
Let's go to Mike Solarte and then Will Kunkel.
Hey, Matt, kind of dovetailing off of Darren's question about OTAs. And I know that you've always been team first and you're always thinking about big picture and everybody, but as a first-year head coach, do you kind of feel like your first year was maybe you were cheated a little bit in your first year by not having the extra, as a new coach, the extra workout time with the guys and all the OTAs and the things that you would have liked to have seen just to try to give yourselves maybe more of a fighting chance to come in, and as opposed to being, as essentially everybody else was, just kind of rushed through training camp and the like?
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. We're at the end of the year now. I can speak, and during the course of the year, I try not to answer things like that because I think it sends a bad message to the team, in terms of, hey, we're making excuses. But if we're just being honest, I mean, I've said a lot of the things that we did well, things we didn't do well. It was tremendously unfortunate that we didn't have an off season. The ability to, on offense, I think you really develop the nuances of what you're asking guys to do. You really guys really understand, okay, this is how he wants me to run this route. Guys get way more comfortable when you have an off season. On defense, you have a chance to see what your guys can do and what they can't do. And they get a chance to really understand, like, hey, this is how I fit. So not having an off season, I mean, like this year when we start the off season, I can't wait. I'll see guys and I'll walk up and hug them and say, hey, great to see you. How's your family? How are your kids? Like last year in training camp in July, I was shaking people's hands. Well, not even shaking people's hands. I was elbow bumping them, introducing myself for the first time. So I told the team, obviously we're disappointed about last night, but I thanked them and said, not many people have gone through what we went through. In terms of a new staff, no OTAs, no off season. And I appreciate them for handling that and having a chance in, other than 2 games, I think we had a chance in every game. And so I appreciate them for doing those things, but we need an off season. We need an OTAs. Last year was really, really difficult to do it that way. And if we don't get one, at least we had this year, we'll figure it out from there. But, we went into the draft last year without even having seen some of our guys. So as you're trying to make a decision about, should we take this player or are they better than this player? Talking to Marty and talking to the guys that were here to try to make those assumptions, as opposed to sitting there and seeing them in mini camp and saying, okay, this guy fits, this guy doesn't. Hey, we should take this. That was a blind draft last year. And I think it was going to work out pretty well in the long run. So I'm looking forward to this year having real knowledge about who we are and what we can be moving forward.
But on a personal level, do you feel that you were cheated a little bit?
Oh, you know what? I look at all this, like, I came here wanting to build an elite franchise. And when I say build, it's like, I'm the coach. I'm not like, the owner. I'm just saying, but from my perspective, build an elite franchise and build a team that competes for Super Bowls and wins Super Bowls. Okay. So, every bit of adversity, while it stinks at the time and people start to question, hey, is this going to work and all those things, it's so much better in the long run. It's like it stretches you, it makes you grow, it makes you learn. So as far this year, yeah, I would have loved to have had the off season and all those different things. But man, I tell you what, I mean, I went through a training camp, meeting players for the first time. To be quite honest, I couldn't really see very well. I was in pain all the time. It's been probably one of the hardest years of my life. And you know what? We competed right to the end through it. So doing that, now I'm sitting there like looking forward to next year saying, I can't wait to get to next season. I can't wait to attack this off season because we handled this year. And I think we did it with class. I think we tried to go out and represent the Panther the right way. So do I feel like I got cheated a little bit? Yeah, maybe so, but it'll pay off in the long run. I believe that with all my heart.
Hey, Matt, Will with Fox 46 here. I remember in the beginning of the year, it may have been the introductory press conference or not, I'm not sure, but you said the most important thing you wanted was this team to play up to his potential, whether that's 11-4, 11 or 11-5, or 6-6, whatever that might be. You guys finished 5-11. Do you feel like you guys played up to your potential? Did you reach that goal that you wanted?
I can't say that. I would never say that to the players. I would say when I look at where we were expected to finish, I tease some people every once in a while, like, hey, where did you guys pick us to finish? There was a lot of people saying that we were going to be in the race to be have the number 1 draft pick, and we're not a winning team. We're not in the Super Bowl, but I feel like, we just for the outside people, maybe we outdid some expectations. We didn't have Christian. We didn't have, we didn't have some key components and KK and some other guys. All that being said, I feel like we should have won more games. Too many games came down to the stretch that we had a chance to win, and we didn't win those games. So that being said, I think we outdid some expectations based upon what people said. But I think for our own expectations, I don't know that I can say that we matched them. We were probably pretty close. We had a chance to win those games. We just got to win a few more at the buzzer, and we just didn't get that done.
Let's go to Vincent Richardson and then Brett Jensen.
Hey, Matt. Obviously, you got some experience for this last year, although coming in sort of partway through sort of the player evaluation process and stuff, and you obviously be a bit different.
Vince, I think you.
Sorry. Can you hear me again? Sorry.
Yep.
Obviously, so you have different experience this year with the GM coming in, but how different is this kind of experience where you have, compared to say what you had in college, much more roster control, and you have much more sort of ability to guide where the team goes in terms of roster construction than where you were, say, recruiting? Do you have a different approach sort of with that kind of different reality?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest difference in college is that, that you weren't going to not re-sign someone or let someone go. You were just going, though some coaches maybe do it that way in college. We were just trying to put a plan together for each person to develop them, saying, hey, this is your best chance to play. But you did have to be very targeted in terms of who you recruited, putting the team together, putting the puzzle together. Last year we did all of this. We came in and evaluated people. We just didn't really have the benefit of any experience with them or knowledge of them, right? Relationships with them. It was all based off of the tape, the contract, the age, health, all those different things. So it was very transactional. And then we really relied on Marty and the pro personnel staff for those other things, in terms of how they saw it. Hey, is this guy going to be injured? Is he going to make it through another year? All those types of things. So at least this year we have the benefit of experience with the players, knowing who they are, knowing their mindset, knowing their work ethic, knowing their ability to play through different things that happen. So it'll be, hopefully, I'm sure it'll be, I know it'll be easier this year to have better evaluations because we've had relationships and time with the guys.
And earlier, Robbie Anderson said that if you were a stock, people should buy it because he knows your history and that you're only going to keep getting better and better and better, giving your past at Baylor and Temple. Given the first years at Baylor and the first year at Temple, are you where you want to be right now? Obviously, you wanted more wins and you were in just about every single game this year, but comparing it to the other places, are you like, okay, yeah, we're on the right path and we're exactly where I want to be?
I don't know that I can say that. I think the thing is the second and third years at Baylor and Temple didn't just happen. Like we had to absolutely grind, like we had to try to outwork the world to make those years happen. So I believe in the trajectory that we're headed on. I believe in the foundation that we established this year. What I'll say about those first years is when we were sitting at the Sugar Bowl, when we were sitting at the championship games, back-to-back years at Temple and Baylor, we always said, hey, our best coaching was done the first year. Our best overcoming, the situation was done our first year. So that was my encouragement to our staff all year this year was, don't make excuses. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about an injury. Don't worry about COVID. Just do your best coaching and it'll pay off in the long run. But you have to do it, right? So whatever happened at Baylor and Temple, it happened because we worked really hard and the staff worked really hard. So we're gonna start to work. We're gonna start to grind. And if we put the work in and make
again, key decisions. And the key in the NFL is to make decisions that are unpopular. The key in the NFL is to make decisions that are disciplined. When I say unpopular, I mean, you might not even like making the decision yourself, but you have to do what's right to have the right roster, to play the right guys, all those different things. And so we have to make hard decisions this year and in the coming years and just do it consistently. And that's what we did. It's just everyone says it, but few do it. So we have to be willing to do it.
If I could follow up real quick, you talk about doing your best coaching in years 1 at Temple and Baylor. How do you think you and your staff did as a coaching this year? Do you think you guys did some of your best coaching?
We'll see in year 3. I know we worked hard to hold the team together. I give the team credit. I give Trey Boston and Shaq Thompson and those guys. I mean, they never quit. I think, looking at the job Phil did, just constantly, saying, who do we have up? Okay, let's take advantage. Hey, we're not good at third down. Let's get better at third down. Hey, we're not, like even last night, I think they were 6 of 14 on third down. The first game, they were 12 of 14. Like, just trying to improve. I thought the special teams improved this year over the course of time. Made some big plays in key moments. I thought you look at the job that the O-line coach did. We played with our fifth starting left tackle played last night, and I don't believe he gave up a sack. So I just think that it's all these small little things. So at 5-11, you can't sit here and say, "Hey, we did a good job coaching." It's just not acceptable. But you want to lay a foundation that you can then build on. So hopefully we did. We'll find out. We have to do a great job this offseason. I do know that.
Let's go to Steven Toronto and then David Newton.
It's been almost a year since you were first hired as Panthers head coach, and obviously January 2020 has become a much different world than January 2021. I know you already mentioned on the lack of an offseason, wanting to win more games, but all that notwithstanding, is there anything else you would have changed about your first year on the job here?
That's a good question. I don't know that I can answer that. I think we just had to kind of take things as they came, and you don't get to go backwards, so I think I've learned some things that I'm going to use carrying forward, kind of like I talked about with Joe's question, and even small things, schematically, small things player wise. So I think this year happened, and we'll build off of it and try to make 2021 our best year.
Matt, you mentioned a few minutes ago about the hard decisions you had to make, and I know one of them was going with Teddy over Cam Newton. Looking back on that now, was that the right decision?
Yeah, I'm never gonna speak ill. However I answer that question, I would speak badly about somebody, and I never would do that. Both guys are tremendous competitors and great guys, and tough decisions have to be made. I'm happy that we have Teddy here. I think he's gonna come fighting back and play his best football moving forward. So I wish Cam all the best, and I'm looking forward to seeing Teddy.
And back to Robbie Anderson question, where he was comparing you to a stock. So give me a couple of reasons why people should buy Panther stock for 2021.
To me, I think Panthers fans are Panthers fans, and they probably come into every year hoping that it's a great year. We came into this year, everything that was said, everything that was written, everything that we heard was that, it was going to take a while to get this thing going. That we would finish 3 and whatever, 2 and whatever. We finished 5-11. The team fought hard. I think when I meet Panthers fans, when I talk to people, I know they're passionate about their team. They love their team. They love the players. They want to bring a Super Bowl trophy here. So hopefully those same people recognize that this team fought hard. This team didn't quit. This team played with more rookies than most teams played with, and that will pay off at some point. So, but I think the Panthers fans that I know, the people that come up to me and say, "Hey, Coach, I've been a PSL owner," the kids I see wearing, Panthers jerseys, I think they believe in the team and they want to see the team do well, and they suffered through this year with us, but we're heading in the right direction.
Let's go to Josh Klein, followed by Jonathan Alexander.
Hey, Matt, I kind of wanted to follow up on that, on the fan interaction that you've had, do you feel a little bit disconnected from the fan base? I mean, usually a first-year head coach, you get to play in some, packed stadiums, and you get to go out to dinner in Charlotte and people want to come and talk to you. But obviously, you haven't had those interactions and that, and have had the chance to have those experiences.
Yeah, I mean, I did when I first got here. I'd see people all the time on the street or everywhere. Obviously, I mean, I took my wife to dinner one time since the start of training camp. And even that night, I remember seeing a couple people and talking to them. So, I go watch my kids' soccer matches and see people. I mean, I talk to people. But yeah, I look forward to life getting back to normal. I think I always go back to the first game of the year, and we played the Raiders, and we were down by 12. And we came back and we took the lead and kicked the ball off to them, and they methodically went down and they took the lead, and then we got the ball back and tried to go win the game. And that's where you need 70,000 people screaming, right? That's where you need their quarterback struggling to communicate. That's where you need the energy from your crowd. And so I can't wait. I can't wait to get all of the Panthers fans back in the stadium. I can't wait to get all the Panthers fans back around us. And I can't personally wait to interact with people. But I think that's true for everybody. I think that's true for all of our kids and our wives and our friends. I think everyone's tired of being in their houses and being on lockdown. So I look forward to those days, and they'll be here again. But the best thing I can do for Panthers fans is help move the program forward, help elevate the team, help bring a consistent winner here. And so I'm gonna work this offseason to take another step.
Hey man, I'm wondering, were there any players in particular that were really kind of pleasant surprises for you?
That's a good question. I'd say one of the biggest ones for me was probably Jermaine Carter. He was one early on that, I think our relationship wasn't great early on, and we leave the year like him and I are hopefully he would say the same thing. I mean, I believe in him. I think he's really come a long way, done a lot of great things. Julian Stanford's a guy we brought in after the 53-man cuts, and I think that's what it was. And it's been a great special teams player for us. I think Rodney Smith, Rodney, he was home and battled away. I think DJ Moore had a year where he really ascended, and so there's probably many, many, many more. I hate to just do a couple guys, but a couple unique stories there that I would say that those guys were pleasant surprises.
All right, let's go to Joe Person, followed by Steve Reed.
Matt, we talked to KK earlier, and he acknowledged what he's coming off injuries and that this is a business, et cetera. Is there a way, to maybe creatively, kind of work him into what, as you said, will be a challenging cap situation?
I'm probably not going to go down, specific players. I did that with Teddy because I know you guys needed that, but I think for all of our guys, we'll have to just hit the off season, get the personnel side, the department staffed, and then look at anything and everything. Not for any one guy, but for everybody. So I think we'll have to look at every position and all those guys, here in not just even the coming weeks, but probably the coming months.
And then, do you know of any players who are going to need any kind of off-season surgeries or procedures?
Yeah, that list isn't done. They did physicals today, so I'll meet with the doctors and all that. So we'll have a couple. I just probably don't want to talk out of turn until I know exactly where we're at with everything.
And Matt, well, given what you just said, I'm not sure if you can answer this, but I'll ask it anyway. You have two really probably going to be very high-profile free agents, Taylor Moton and Curtis Samuel. Do you feel right now that, and I understand you're not a capologist, you're not the general manager, but do you feel like right now that there is any way that you can bring both of those guys back this next season?
I think all that remains to be seen. They're both great players, but even more importantly, they're both great guys. I think any team would love to have them. I think it'll all just depend on money. It'll all just depend on the market. It'll all just depend on the cap. It'll all just depend on the room. So I think those guys, like many of our guys, are guys that anyone would want, but it'll just come down to financial, considerations.
Guys, looks like we have 2 more questions left. So let's go to Elena Getzenberg and then finish with Brett Jensen.
Hey, Matt, I was curious, what does your next month, I guess, look like? Like, are you planning on just focusing on the GM side and personnel side, or like, how do these next couple weeks shape out for you?
I guess I'm kind of, on call as the GM search goes, as needed. I'll try to take a little bit of time to get away. When I say get away, I mean, probably just go to my house and hang out with the kids. And then I plan on being in Mobile for the Senior Bowl, and I'll spend the week there, and that'll probably be the next couple weeks.
I mean, I know this season didn't turn out the way, you wanted it to, but are you able to now, I know I had asked this a week ago, but take a breath and appreciate your first season as an NFL head coach? Is that something you can do at this point?
I think I probably just take a breath and feel energized about, okay, this, I can see all the positive things that we did. I think if you put the positives up, I think, a lot of good things happen that will benefit us in the future. So I can look at the positives, I can evaluate the negatives, and say, hey, we have to correct these things. But, to me, I think any year that we don't win the Super Bowl, Elena, I'm going to sit there and feel frustrated at the end of the season. So, I mean, I want to win the Super Bowl. So, getting right there and then not getting there, I'll feel that way probably every year. So what I have to do is just take a step back, look at the negatives, figure out ways to fix them, evaluate the positives, and then just be really disciplined about evaluating our own team, getting to, going to the Senior Bowl, just going right through that process. I think I have a little bit of perspective right now, but most importantly, I'm excited to get going. I'm excited to get going on this off season. This will be one of the most pivotal off seasons, for the franchise.
Matt, I know that you talked about how you were not going to have questions with or discuss shutting McCaffrey down, and even though that's what many fans wanted or whatever, Christian said that earlier today that you approached him before this last game and said, look, you just need to go ahead and shut it down. Was it just for his own precaution, or were you just trying to protect him from himself? Because he even admitted that sometimes he trains way too hard, and that hard is not always best.
Yeah, I mean, I just again, if he was healthy, I'd play him. I want to make sure I say that 1,000 times. If he was healthy, I'd play him. But if you're not quite there and you're trying to do everything too much almost to get there, if you're not healthy, you're not healthy. Sometimes you just have to give yourself a mental and physical break and just say, you know what, I'm not, it hasn't worked out for me. So, if he was 100% run around, flying around, and we wanted to win that football game, we would have played him. Just like same thing with Brian Burns. He played the week before and then hurt his shoulder. And we said, you know what, I appreciate everything you've done. You can't go. So, yeah. So, I mean, I as I talk to McCaffrey, I mean, Christian, I see the pressure he's putting on himself. I see all the, things he's trying to do, and he's just not quite there, healthy there. And the last thing he needs to do is push himself too far and make it worse. He probably hurt that by overdoing what he was doing, trying to come back. And so I think Christian's going to enter this offseason with real perspective about what he needs to do for his body moving forward. And unlike some guys, more is more. Some, for him, it might just be like, hey, he has to take some time and recover, and then hit 2021 running and hit it full speed.
All right, guys, looks like that's going to do it. We really appreciate everyone working with us, make these virtual availabilities happen. And thank you, Coach Rhule, for all the time.
I want to thank everyone. I appreciate you guys. I look forward to next year either seeing you in person or actually being able to look in the camera and see you guys. So appreciate your patience with me. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.